Buying a motorcycle is an emotional decision, but ignoring the financial reality of the brand building, that motorcycle is how you end up with a $7,000 paperweight. Since our last video, the industry has experienced a genuinely brutal reality check. Actual liquidations, Chapter 7 filings, billions in negative equity. Today we are looking at cold, hard SEC filings, investor reports, and bankruptcy dockets. No rumors, no speculation, just the documented financial signals telling you exactly who is drowning. Let us get into the evidence. Number 8, Sondors. So you might remember the hype surrounding the Sondors Metacycle. It was pitched as the ultimate urban commuter, an affordable, sleek electric motorcycle that was going to change the game. Instead, it became a masterclass in financial mismanagement, and the people who handed over their deposits got absolutely nothing in return. Here's what the actual documents show. After collecting deposits for years, Sondors completely imploded. By late 2023, the company was forced into receivership by Rock Creek Financial Advisors. According to Electrek's financial reporting, the documents presented during the fire sale revealed a staggering reality. Sondors had collected over 10,000 cash deposits for the Metacycle, totaling nearly $20 million that went completely unfulfilled. $20 million from real people, gone. The receivership process itself also exposed how little consumer protection exists for motorcycle deposit holders in the U.S. Unlike car dealerships, which operate under state-level lemon laws and manufacturer backing requirements, electric motorcycle startups have been operating in a regulatory gray zone where collecting deposits and failing to deliver carries minimal legal consequences for founders. The Sondors situation has prompted calls in several states for deposit protection legislation, specifically covering EV powersport vehicles. But as of now, if a brand takes your money and folds, you are joining a bankruptcy creditor queue that pays out cents on the dollar if it pays out at all. And here's the buyer impact. If you own a Metacycle right now, you are riding a ghost. There is no factory support. There is no software patch coming if your battery management system glitches. If you drop the bike and crack a proprietary casing, you are entirely reliant on cannibalizing other dead bikes from eBay. That is not motorcycle ownership. That is archaeology. To be completely fair to the engineering, if you actually got your hands on a Metacycle, it is a fun 80-mile-per-hour aluminum frame commuter. It looks like nothing else on the road. The engineers did their job. The business people did not do theirs. Verdict: avoid entirely. Unless you find a used one for under $1,000 and you possess an advanced degree in electrical engineering, do not touch this platform, not at any price above that threshold. The Sondors situation also carries a broader lesson that applies to every brand on this list. When a company sells you a product that requires ongoing corporate support to function, software updates, diagnostic tools, proprietary parts, you are not just buying a motorcycle, you are buying a subscription to that company's survival. Sondors owners discovered this the hard way when their subscriptions were canceled without warning and without refund. The receivership documents also revealed that the company had been aware of its financial deterioration for months before customers were notified. Deposits continued rolling in while the company was actively insolvent. That is not just bad luck. That is a serious ethical failure that prospective buyers of any crowd-funded electric motorcycle brand should keep firmly in mind. Losing a commuter bike is bad enough, but wait until you see what happens when a premium European brand wipes out all of its customers' warranties overnight with a single legal filing. Number 7, 𝐏𝐄𝐑. So Swedish design usually implies longevity and stability, beautiful products, thoughtful engineering, long lifespans. In the electric two-wheeler market, even the most beautiful designs cannot outrun a terrible balance sheet. 𝐏𝐂 officially filed for bankruptcy on February 1st, 2024, as confirmed in the 𝐏𝐂𝐑 Zero Emission AB formal bankruptcy filing. The company had aggressively overexpanded, launching 7 different models since 2017 without reaching break-even sales on a single one of them. 7 models, 0 profitable ones. That is not bad luck, that is a structural business failure. Here is where it gets legally critical. Norwegian holding company Brages Holding AS stepped in after the bankruptcy and purchased the intellectual property and remaining inventory from the estate. But, and this is the part that directly affects you as an owner, Brages Holding purchased the assets, not the liabilities. The old company's legal obligations died with the bankruptcy. This means if you bought a 𝐃𝐂𝐑 motorcycle before February 1st, 2024, your warranty is legally void. The new company has zero legal obligation to honor it. If the motor burns out on your premium off-roader today, you are paying out of pocket, assuming the skeleton crew team even has the spare parts in stock to sell you. Now, the 𝐏𝐂𝐀 is legitimately brilliant. It weighs under 180 pounds and delivers instant, silent torque on the trails. It is a phenomenal piece of engineering that deserved a better business behind it. Verdict: buy used with extreme caution. The new owners are attempting to restart production, but until a robust dealer network is actually established in the United States, you are flying completely solo on warranty and parts. Price accordingly. There is also a registration and title dimension to 𝐾𝐂𝐃 ownership that almost nobody discusses. In several U.S. states, registering a motorcycle from a brand that is filed for bankruptcy can trigger insurance complications, as some carriers are now flagging orphaned electric motorcycle brands as high-risk categories for comprehensive coverage. Before you buy a used 𝐾𝐂𝐃, confirm with your specific insurance carrier that they will write a comprehensive policy on it, because the last thing you need on top of a voided warranty is also being underinsured. There is also a practical dimension to the Brages Holding situation that goes beyond just voided warranties. When a new company acquires intellectual property from a bankrupt predecessor, they have no obligation to maintain the same supply chain relationships, the same software architecture, or even the same service standards. Brages may completely redesign future 𝐾𝐂𝐃 motorcycles, which would mean that parts designed for your pre-bankruptcy bike never become available again through any official channel. The IP survived. Your specific bike may be permanently orphaned regardless. The resale value picture for pre-bankruptcy 𝐾𝐂𝐃 motorcycles is also genuinely ugly right now. Without active warranty support, official dealer backing, or any clear parts supply chain, buyers on the secondary market are heavily discounting these machines. If you bought a 𝐾𝐂𝐃 at full price and are trying to sell today, you are looking at a significant loss that has nothing to do with mileage or condition. It is one thing for a startup to fail. It is entirely another when a legendary motorcycle designer's final project goes up in flames. And that is exactly what number 6 is. If this kind of hard-hitting, evidence-backed reporting saves you from a financial mistake, hit that subscribe button right now. We are the only channel digging into the actual paperwork. Number 6, Fuell. So Eric Buell is a legitimate legend in the American motorcycle industry. Decades of engineering brilliance, a genuinely dedicated fan base. His latest venture into the EV space proves that engineering genius cannot magically solve severe cash flow problems. No matter how talented you are, you cannot design your way out of $0 in the bank. Fuell Inc. is completely dead. On October 16, 2024, the company filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, as documented in case number 2-4-25492 in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Eastern District of Wisconsin. The filings are absolutely brutal. The company explicitly stated they have, quote, no employees and little to no funds, unquote. They could not even afford the shipping costs to send out products that customers had already fully paid for. There is no restructuring here. Chapter 7 means total liquidation. If you pre-ordered their fellow commuter motorcycle, your money is gone, and you are simply another name on a massive list of unsecured creditors waiting for pennies on the dollar that will never arrive. The fuel fluid e-bikes that actually made it to production were sturdy, belt-driven machines with massive range. The engineering was solid. The follow motorcycle never materialized beyond prototypes, which makes the whole situation even more infuriating for the people who backed it. Verdict: avoid entirely. The company has been legally dissolved. There is nothing to buy, nothing to support, and nothing coming back. There is also a community dimension to the Fuell collapse that deserves attention. Eric Buell had previously built a passionate owner community around his Buell motorcycle brand before Harley-Davidson killed it. Many of those same owners backed Fuell specifically because they trusted the man behind it. When Fuell collapsed, it did not just strand customers financially, it fractured a community that had already been through one painful brand death. For those riders, Fuell was a second loss, and the financial damage was compounded by the emotional betrayal of watching a trusted designer fail them twice. The Fuell situation is particularly painful for the enthusiast community because Ark Vehicles' name carried enormous credibility. People backed this project not because of corporate promises, but because of personal trust in an engineer they respected. That trust was misplaced, not because Fuell is a bad engineer, but because engineering talent and business execution are completely different skill sets, and the company clearly lacked the latter. We just covered an affordable commuter going under. Next up is a brand that charged customers over $100,000 for a motorcycle, then shut its doors twice. Number 5, Ark Vehicles. So when Jaguar Land Rover's venture capital arm backs your motorcycle company, you assume the financial foundation is rock solid. You assume smart people with serious money have done serious due diligence. That assumption would be dead wrong. Ark Vehicles, a British boutique manufacturer, promised the world's most advanced electric superbike. The company entered administration the first time in 2019. CEO Mark Truman then personally bought the company back out of administration, essentially betting his own money that he could make it work the second time around. He could not. Ark shut completely again in early 2024, with Truman publicly admitting that distribution issues and a total lack of revenue forced them to shutter the factory for good, as confirmed in UK company's house insolvency filings for Ark V Limited. One man tried to save it twice and it failed both times. That tells you everything you need to know about the fundamental economics. The Ark Vector retailed for 90,000 British pounds, roughly 114,000 US dollars. Only 11 units were reportedly sold. If you own one, you own a proprietary piece of software bolted to a bespoke carbon fiber chassis with zero technical support. If the heads-up display helmet fails, the bike is essentially unrideable. 11 owners, zero support, completely orphaned. On paper, the Vector was a masterpiece. 200 miles of range, a hub center steering system, and a blistering top speed. It was genuinely art. Art that nobody can fix. Verdict: avoid entirely. It is a museum piece, not a functional vehicle. A very expensive museum piece. The second failure is particularly damning from a due diligence perspective. When Ark emerged from its first administration, it attracted press coverage, investor interest, and new customer deposits. Those deposits funded a second run at the problem. The fact that the second attempt failed just as decisively as the first suggests that the fundamental unit economics of building a 90,000-pound electric superbike for a global market of 11 buyers were never going to work, regardless of who was running the company. If you think these boutique brands are the only ones suffering, pay close attention to number 4. We are moving into established, high-performance territory now, and the situation is just as alarming. Drop a comment below if you have ever been burned by a brand shutting down. Your real-world stories genuinely help warn other riders, and we read every single one. Number 4, Energica. So Italian passion meets electric performance. Energica was arguably the strongest player in the premium EV motorcycle space. They supplied the Moto E World Cup. They had the pedigree. They had the racing credentials. None of that stopped the balance sheet from eating them alive. After a takeover by 𝐑𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐑 in 2022 failed to bring in necessary capital, Energica's board of directors voted for a bankruptcy judicial liquidation on October 14, 2024, as announced formally by Energica Motor Company. They cited a total collapse in supply chain viability and a complete lack of sector investment. While a group of Singaporean investors stepped in during 2025 to attempt a rescue, the brand's production lines suffered catastrophic downtime across a full year. Energica dealerships were left completely stranded for over a year. While the new investors are attempting to resume parts production, the supply chain for complex electronic components, like their proprietary DC fast charging modules, remains incredibly fragile. One disruption away from another, complete collapse. One specific parts concern for Energica owners that goes beyond the general supply chain discussion. The Quattro Motori DC fast charging module is a proprietary system that has no third-party equivalent and no aftermarket support pathway currently visible. Without DC fast charging capability, an Energica touring motorcycle loses its primary practical advantage over slower charging alternatives. If the new Singaporean ownership group cannot resolve the supply chain for this specific component, even a successful brand revival leaves existing owners with a significantly degraded product. The Energica 𝐏𝐄𝐑 is legitimately one of the best electric touring motorcycles ever constructed. It is heavy, but the chassis dynamics and highway stability are world-class. The product was never the problem. The business was always the problem. Verdict: wait and see. Do not buy new right now. If the new holding company proves they can supply the dealer network with consistent parts through 2026, the brand might survive. Until then, your wallet is at serious risk. The 𝐑𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐑 chapter of Energica's story also deserves specific attention because it illustrates a failure mode that repeats across the electric motorcycle industry. 𝐑𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐑 was a US-listed company that positioned itself as an electric vehicle enabler and acquired Energica as a prestige asset. What Energica actually needed was working capital and supply chain stability. What 𝐑𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐑 brought was publicity and stock market positioning. The mismatch between what the brand needed and what the parent provided is a pattern you see repeatedly in this industry, and it is a pattern that always ends the same way. This brings us to the biggest names in the industry. You might assume backing from a legacy American brand makes you bulletproof. The SEC filings say otherwise. Number 3, LiveWire. So Harley-Davidson spun LiveWire off into its own publicly traded company to capture the electric future. Instead, it has captured nothing but massive operating losses and a stock price that has made early investors physically ill. And here's the crazy part. The numbers are genuinely frightening. For the entirety of 2025, LiveWire posted an operating loss of $75 million. In that same year, they reported selling exactly 41 more motorcycles than they did the year prior. 41. They are bleeding cash on every single unit they manufacture, surviving solely because Harley-Davidson continues to float them loans and provide structural support. The full financial details are documented in LiveWire Group's SEC filings on the NYSE Investor Relations page. If Harley-Davidson's own core sales continue to soften, Wall Street will force them to cut the LiveWire deadweight. And here is the part that directly affects owners. If LiveWire goes under, their proprietary cellular connectivity, over-the-air updates, and specialized battery diagnostics go offline permanently. You cannot take a LiveWire to an independent shop. They simply do not have the software keys to fix it. You are completely dependent on a company that is losing $75 million a year just to keep your motorcycle functional. There is one more dimension to the LiveWire situation that current owners need to understand. LiveWire's cellular connectivity, the feature that enables over-the-air updates, remote diagnostics, and the smartphone app that controls many bike functions, is operated through a cloud infrastructure that LiveWire pays for continuously. If the company ceases operations or is acquired by a party that decides the cloud service is not worth maintaining, that infrastructure goes dark. Your motorcycle does not explode. It just becomes progressively less functional as features depend on connectivity checks that no longer receive a response. The LiveWire One is a spectacularly fun motorcycle. It handles beautifully, the build quality is premium, and the acceleration is flawless. The engineers did their job perfectly. The business model is what is failing, not the machine itself. Verdict: buy used at a deep discount only. Paying full MSRP for a new LiveWire is a massive financial gamble. Let someone else take the devastating depreciation hit first. Our final 2 brands are going to shock a lot of people. We are talking about European royalty currently drowning in billions of dollars of debt. Before we get to number 2 and number 1, smash that subscribe button right now. What is coming next is something every KTM and MV Agusta owner needs to hear immediately. Number 2, MV Agusta. So MV Agusta creates what they call motorcycle art. They also create a terrifying financial history of constant near-death experiences that would give any accountant a full-blown anxiety attack. MV Agusta was recently saved by Pure Mobility AG, the massive Austrian conglomerate that also owns KTM. This was supposed to be MV's golden ticket to stability. Here is the problem. Pure Mobility itself has just slammed into a financial brick wall, entering massive debt restructuring in 2025. The details of Pure Mobility's financial distress are documented in their official ad hoc restructuring announcements. When the parent company is fighting for its own survival, boutique subsidiaries like MV Agusta are the first to suffer severe budget cuts and the last to receive investment. MV Agusta parts have always been expensive and painfully slow to arrive, even when the company was relatively stable. Under the current Pure Mobility financial crisis, you can expect supply chains to tighten even further. Out-of-warranty claims will be fought aggressively. Finding specialized technicians will become progressively harder. The brand has been on a financial knife edge for so long that Italian motorcycle journalists have basically stopped reporting it as breaking news. One practical survival strategy for existing MV Agusta owners is worth mentioning. The global independent MV Agusta specialist community, technicians who work on these bikes outside the official dealer network, has been growing as the dealer network has been contracting. Finding a qualified independent specialist in your region and establishing a relationship now, before you need emergency work done, is the single most important thing an MV owner can do in the current environment. These specialists often have access to parts channels that official dealers abandoned years ago. The Super Veloce 800 is a jaw-dropping machine. The 3-cylinder engine sounds like pure violence, and the styling is completely unmatched anywhere in the motorcycle world. Nobody builds anything that looks like this. Verdict: for experienced exotic buyers only. Never buy one assuming it will be your reliable daily commuter. You buy an MV Agusta knowing you might wait 3 months for a stator cover to ship from Italy, and that is on a good year. Right now is not a good year. Which brings us to the absolute heavyweight of financial disasters in the current market. If number 2 surprised you, number 1 is going to make you check your own garage. Number 1, KTM. So KTM has been dominating the dirt, the street, and the Dakar rally for years. Multiple world championships, hundreds of thousands of passionate owners globally, a brand that felt entirely invincible. The math says otherwise, and the math does not care about your feelings. The situation at Pure Mobility Group is catastrophic. According to their own disclosures, sales dropped by a staggering 29% year over year into 2024. The company reported a net debt of $1.6 billion. Their equity literally dropped into negative territory, minus $199 million. They are laying off staff, pulling completely out of the electric bicycle business, and desperately seeking hundreds of millions in bridge financing just to keep the lights on. All of this is confirmed in Pure Mobility AG's preliminary figures and formal restructuring announcements filed in late 2024 and early 2025. And here's what that means for you as a KTM owner or prospective buyer right now. KTM dealerships are stuck with massive amounts of unsold inventory as the parent company aggressively slashes overhead and production volumes to survive. Warranty processing times are slowing down. Dealers are reducing staff. If Pure is forced into a harder insolvency scenario, dealership networks will contract violently, and you will find yourself with a world-class motorcycle and nobody qualified to service it within a reasonable distance. It is also worth understanding what a Pure Mobility restructuring actually looks like in practice for dealers and owners. Under Austrian insolvency law, a debt restructuring agreement requires creditors representing a majority of outstanding claims to agree to modified repayment terms. During the negotiation period, normal business operations continue, but capital expenditure is severely restricted. That means R&D freezes, parts procurement slows, new model development stops. For KTM owners whose bikes were released in the last 2 years with known outstanding service bulletins, the prospect of those updates being indefinitely delayed is a genuine concern. And look, KTM makes incredibly aggressive, highly capable motorcycles. The 1390 Super Duke R Evo is a mechanical masterpiece. The adventure lineup is genuinely world-class. The crisis is entirely in the boardroom, not on the assembly line. The engineers are blameless. The financial management is not. The KTM community response to the peer crisis has also been instructive. Owner forums and writing groups have been actively organizing information about which dealerships remain fully staffed, which warranty claims are being processed, and which parts are currently available. If you own a KTM right now, joining these communities is not optional. It is essential for staying ahead of supply chain developments that directly affect your ownership experience. The collective intelligence of 10,000 owners sharing real-time information is more valuable right now than any official statement from the manufacturer. Verdict: do not buy a new KTM right now under any circumstances unless the dealer is offering a massive, undeniable discount that reflects the ownership uncertainty you are accepting. Wait to see if Peer Mobility secures their restructuring financing before committing. Used KTMs at appropriately reduced prices from sellers who have already completed their warranty claims are reasonable buys for riders who understand the risk. Watch the peer creditor protection proceedings closely over the next 6 to 12 months. One final point on the KTM situation that applies broadly to every brand on this list: the interconnection between KTM and Husqvarna and 𝐏𝐿𝐀, 3 brands under the Peer umbrella, means that the financial crisis is not contained to KTM alone. Husqvarna dealerships carry Peer paper just like KTM dealerships do. 𝐏𝐿𝐀 warranty claims flow through the same financial infrastructure. If you own any Peer Mobility Group product right now, the information in this video is directly relevant to your situation, whether your tank badge says KTM, Husqvarna, or 𝐏𝐿𝐀. The corporate crisis does not discriminate by badge. So there you have it. The badge on the gas tank means nothing if the corporate offices are empty. When you buy a motorcycle, you are buying a relationship with the manufacturer. If they go bankrupt, you are the one left holding the bill. Click on the next video, protect your wallet, do your research, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video.